Liberty.
We're recording. Here we go.
Fandom. All right, let's go, people. Welcome to the Nosebleeders podcast, / YouTube show / whatever these things identify as these days. I am Phill, and with me, as always, is Mike. We got another really fun guest. I think we're gonna have a good time with Ibrahim Khalif. Did I say that right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Ibrahim Khalif. Hello, great comic, and also I understand one of the 9 people that actually watches this show. So thank you, thank you for your clicks and eyeballs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, I think you should take the lead today because I think you kind of knew what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So we Ibrahim and I connected at our buddy Darren Patterson's show in Montclair, the non-pro show, fun comedy show that him and John Minus run. Great show. And we were talking all about, he was nice enough to say, hey, I know Nosebleeders and I know Brian and blah, blah, and he enjoyed it. And we started talking a little bit about the GOAT debate with Michael Jordan and LeBron James. So I've always felt it was Michael Jordan. Ibrahim has a nice perspective of what he feels. I'll let him take the floor.
Do I need to moderate this? Because I don't really care.
No.
No, I love watching this debate from the sidelines because, I don't know basketball the way that a lot of other people do. So I just always love hearing people go back and forth. Because, for me, you look at LeBron highlights or Jordan highlights, it's the difference between getting, a really good blowjob from a brunette versus a redhead. It's personal preference because they're both awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the first thing I think of,
yeah. I think of blowjobs too when I'm watching sports highlights.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Brian does. I know that. That's why we miss him here.
Right. Different conversation.
Different conversation.
Happy Pride Month, by the way, fellas. So, So, Mike, you think it's MJ, and Ibrahim, I assume, based on what Mike alluded to, you think it's LeBron. Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah. I'm of that contingent right now. Listen, I grew up a huge Michael Jordan fan. Don't get me wrong. That was my era. I was a kid. I was a child. I was a diehard Bulls fan and Michael Jordan fan, but I was also a sports fan. One of my earliest ways of growing up, my grandmother she gave me a subscription to Sports Illustrated. I'd read all the articles. I collected all the basketball cards. Michael Jordan was my dude. But, and I was all wrapped in like a lot of guys my age. But then this kid from Akron comes along, and I thought he was all hyped, to be honest with you. I was completely skeptical when he came into the league. I thought Carmelo Anthony was a better player, but I had never saw LeBron play. The moment I saw this motherfucker play, I said, yo, this might be the best basketball player I've ever seen. And then he got into the league, and then, I saw him on TV. I said, yo, this guy's unbelievable. Then I saw him in person, and I'd never seen a person. He came, it was a New Jersey Nets game. My uncle had gave me tickets to it. Was the Cavs versus the Nets. This had to be around 2006, 2007. Bruh, I've never seen a human run that fast and jump that high.
He is a freak of nature, man.
And we had great, I'm talking about, there's a few highlights. I think there's one highlight in particular, it's a Nets highlight, where he took a ball the length of the floor and he outran everyone dribbling. And dunked it. And I was just like, I think that's the game I was at. Me and my friend was just sitting next to us going, yo, I've never seen a human being run that fast.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching like a video game with cheat codes on.
Right. When you turn all the sliders up.
Right.
Shout out to my GOAT right here. But
yeah. It's you.
Man. So in my mind, so as I got older, I started to realize that LeBron James is actually what they build Michael Jordan to be to me when I was a youngin', if that makes sense. So to me, when I was a kid, while Michael was playing, they were building his myth up.
Right.
While he was playing, they made him he could jump so high. It was never a negative article about Michael Jordan. Is anything he did, even when he had bad games, was still exalted to this great effort against this, these vaunted teams. And it was just the way it was marketed to me as a child. But when I watch LeBron James, I'm like, yo, he is literally doing the shit they told me Michael Jordan could do in real time. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan, the story we were told is Michael Jordan, or how it was told to us while we were growing up watching Jordan play was he carried these teams. He carried these Bulls teams. He just carried them, and he learned how to win. He got in the weight room, and it was all this bullshit. And then I'm watching LeBron actually carry teams. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Everyone like wanted to diminish Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen and John Paxson and Steve Kerr and Tony Kukoc.
What about Rodman? What about Dennis Rodman?
Yeah,
man.
And Phil Jackson, and Tex Winters. But it's like, yo, I literally watched LeBron James take the worst roster in NBA history to the NBA Finals
at
the age of 22.
That is true.
I watched the 48 special.
So,
against.
I got a question though, and this sort of goes along with the thing that you were saying in the beginning, which is that you mentioned that as soon as you saw him play, both on TV and in person, you're like, oh my God, this is the guy. This is the dude right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, whereas I feel like the narrative overall with his career arc, you guys remember when he had the whole like the decision thing and that like, special on ESPN, and he for a little while was like arguably the most hated athlete in the country for that, by the way.
Right.
And the thing is, people came out and were just shitting on him left and right. But then he did what he had to do. He showed up and he won a bunch of rings. He answered the critics. And so I feel like it was that period, about 3 or 4 years after the decision, where people were saying, oh, you know what? This guy is legit. He is the man. He kind of had to win people over. Whereas with you, it sounds like he won you over right away. Are those two things accurate to say?
Yeah, because I never understood the shit he got for the decision anyway. Because to me, if you look at the way it was laid out, the whole decision was ESPN made a donation to the Boys and Girls Club in Akron so they can hear it right from him where he was going. Whereas, ESPN, if this was any other time, if he didn't do that, they were going to make millions of dollars in ad revenue just from covering speculations and sources and all that stuff. So he said, hey, if you want to know where I want to go, make a donation to the Boys and Girls Club in my hometown, and I'll tell you. We'll make it a 2-hour thing. And everyone thought it was a great idea until he didn't do what everyone thought he should do, which is stay in Cleveland.
Yeah, and that was it.
But my thing is, everyone talks about like who changed the sport, like what athletes impacted sport. LeBron James going to the Miami Heat and taking his career into his own hands changed sports forever. He kicked off the whole player empowerment movement because as I grew up like in that 90s basketball era and a lot of that stuff, which is actually like glossed over a lot. But a lot of great players ruined years of their prime and wasted years of their prime on shitty organizations that did not want to do what it took to win. They just wanted to juice this guy for all his superstardom and, and pretty much like be a cock tease to the fan base.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, we're gonna get there. We're gonna give LeBron.
Didn't he have his penis slip out of his shorts one time during a game too? Speaking of that,
LeBron
happened once. I'm pretty sure that happened one time during a game. Yeah, wasn't there like a?
There was something. I know. No, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if it was him.
No idea.
Okay,
sounds like a Rodman thing.
I'm pretty
sure.
He
had to bring that up. He had to bring
again.
That up
if only Brian was here, he'd remember. But so the thing is, too, you make a good point because Cleveland is obviously a smaller market team in any sport, and they don't really have the resources to put the guys around him that Miami put around him, like Dwayne Wade and whoever the third guy was that I'm not remembering right.
Bosh, yeah.
And so the thing is, he was and you said a minute ago it was a player empowerment. He did it for his career, and it makes sense now, certainly.
Yeah.
But part of it was the unlikability, which is what I mentioned. Because you remember that like hype session they had in the middle of the summer where they came out on the stage with the smoke, and he's like, "We're gonna win 7 championships," and then that there, that's why everyone's like, "Oh, this guy sucks."
6, right.
Yeah,
that was bragging. Yeah,
I understand.
Still winning 3 or 4 with them.
They went to 4 straight and they won 2.
And that was right around the tail end of that is when people like me, the casuals, were like, oh, this guy is the GOAT. He answered the critics because a lot of people were rooting against him. Everyone was rooting against him because he was the villain then. But then he kind of won people over towards the end. And then when he went back to Cleveland, he became likable again.
I still think people still like, bro, I debate this shit. Like me being retired, I'm home a lot, in between gigs and shit. So I'm on social media and I debate basketball, and this debate has been fueling. It's like it kept me sharp with my material because I'm constantly. I don't know what it is about arguing. I don't know if y'all can relate, but when you're a comedian, arguing keeps you sharp.
Yes. Right.
It's like a different kind of crowd work. I see what you're saying. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, bro, it's they still hate on this dude. Now I don't understand it. I'm like, bro, this is literally the greatest we've never seen a guy score 40,000 fucking points, 11,000 assists, and 11,000 rebounds. We've never seen this in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like? It's like if you gave your wife 20 years, 20 great years of your best love, affection, and you did everything for her. Mm-hmm. And all she continues to talk about is the nigga in high school who got her pregnant. That's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the dude who got everybody pregnant. But and the baby is nostalgia.
I mean, who knows, man? Maybe Michael Jordan's got a hug. We don't know. I mean, I've never. That's those underwear commercials. Maybe that is the subject.
That is true.
He wants everyone to know he's got a bigger dick than everybody. Than LeBron.
I mean, he is tall. You know.
So Mike, you're more on the MJ side of this. So Mike, do you have any type of rebuttal for this? Because I got to say, Ibrahim so far has had a lot of very compelling points. So what is your retort to this, Mike?
Yeah, I got nothing now. No, I just no. You make a lot of good points. I mean, my points were, and we had talked about this when we met, but of just growing up and seeing him play, of how good he was and how dominant he was, and his will to win was unlike anything. And obviously, it just seemed like not every year, I shouldn't say that, but once he got to the 90s and once they got the Pistons out of the way, it seemed like there was nobody beating him. I was a Knicks fan, so I was used to getting trounced on by the Bulls every year. So until he retired, Pippen took him to a Game 7, which I was just listening to a debate about somebody saying Pippen, was it Peter Rosenberg was saying Pippen wasn't that good or something like that. I'm like, he took the Bulls to Game 7 against the Knicks.
And he was third in MVP voting that year too.
Yeah,
he won the All-Star MVP.
Yes, I remember that. I had that on tape somewhere, I think. Yeah. But anyway, the Bulls, I'm just so used to them beating the Knicks. It just seemed like if Jordan was there, they were going to win. And I always felt like a lot of times when the new guy comes around, the media is going to shift, say, "No, this is the GOAT. No, this is the GOAT." And because now it's almost like Tom Brady retired, so now they're starting to say, "Well, I think Mahomes might be better," and like. That's going to come with the media. So
they're going to hitch their wagon to somebody.
Yeah,
so
they're going to do
So
that.
you saying, Mike, you're making the argument that it's sort of generational, whereas the guy they pushed in the 90s was Jordan, and now in the 2010s to 20s, now it's LeBron, right? So like in 10 years, we're going to have the same debate where we have some kid we haven't heard of who's just being born now, who's like the man then in 2037 or something. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I just remember, watching it, and when Jordan retired, they said, "Well, Anthony Hardaway is going to be the next Jordan," and then it was Vince Carter, and then it was going to be Kobe, and it was they were always trying to fill Jordan's shoes so they have that next media sensation. But LeBron, I'll tell you what about LeBron. To be completely honest, athleticism, he was like Shaq with speed. Nobody was that thunderous to the hoop outside of Shaq. And Shaq, obviously, is 7 foot, 300 pounds, and LeBron, still a big guy, but smaller than him, just as explosive to the hoop. So
Shaq is such a massive human. Have you?
Yeah,
I know I've seen him on the show before.
I met him twice.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
it's so huge. His hands are like this fucking big.
It's insane how big he is.
Yeah,
it's insane.
But you're making a lot of good point. I think it is a generational thing. I know some people say, well, I remember when Magic was considered the best right before he retired, and he announced he had HIV and he retired. Jordan, that's when the Jordan thing really took over.
Side note, did you guys watch Winning Time?
I love that show. I'm so mad.
I have to watch it.
Me too.
I'm so fucking mad.
Yeah.
It's bullshit because they were setting it up so brilliantly for a third season, and then they did that stupid epilogue ending. And I'm sitting there watching it with my girlfriend, and we're like, "Oh, they're canceling this fucking show." Like, son of a bitch.
It was insane. They could have ran that all the way to the Shaq and Kobe years. It could have went all the way through. They
could have done fucking 4 more seasons, and I would have eaten it up because that show was so good. That was, I'm telling you, man, Mike, you have to watch the show because they got actors that look and sound freaking identical to Kareem and to Magic. Like when you watch like old highlights and then you watch that show back to back, you're like, holy shit, they nailed it.
They hard to match real people.
I'm with you on being upset about that, man.
You know that's Norm Nixon's actual son playing Norm Nixon, right?
Oh, really?
No, I didn't know that.
Cool.
That's Norm Nixon's son. Yeah. It's
like
great.
Yeah, by the way, that's my dog Benji. He's making a cameo. Benji, who do you think's better, MJ or LeBron?
No,
like,
no
he's looking at me.
No comment.
I think he thinks Bill Lambier is the GOAT.
He's our favorite for this show.
He's the GOAT on this show.
Yeah, Bill Lambier is the
so
GOAT.
one more question before we kind of wrap this up. This is for both of you guys because I'm a casual when it comes to basketball, and I admit that. One of the things I hear when people are debating the MJ versus LeBron thing, it's a common thread that people say. It's that it's almost not really an apples to apples comparison because the game was a lot more physical and violent in the 80s and the 90s. And
more
nowadays
defense.
Nobody plays defense, but also nowadays everyone's bigger. So is there also the fact that the sport itself has evolved where sometimes it's hard to compare?
I think that people really let nostalgia blind them from those games. Look, Michael Jordan, I'm gonna be honest, between 1987 or 88 to 1990, Michael Jordan played in a physical game of basketball. Like, and that was just really the Detroit Pistons. That's only like 3 years with a lot of people that's Jordashians, as I call them. They take those 3 years and extrapolate it over his entire career. From 1991 to the rest of his career, you couldn't breathe on Michael Jordan. Okay?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was the king of ticky-tack and phantom fouls. Him being a Knicks fan, I know he remembered the 93 playoffs, the 92 playoffs, whenever they would get close to Michael. And I was a Bulls fan, and I knew this. When the Knicks were beating the Bulls, I knew we were going to come back because I knew all Michael Jordan had to do was drive to the hole, and he was going to get a foul. So it's like,
I forgot.
So everyone who talks about how soft the NBA is now and all of this stuff and ticky-tack fouls, bro, it started with Michael Jordan. They brought flagrant foul in because of him. He went to the commissioner's office and complained so they can get flagrant, and they got flagrant foul.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's changed the entire way the NBA played. Also, they had illegal defense where he can ISO on one side of the fucking court.
Oh,
and just take on the other team's defender one-on-one. Could you imagine if LeBron, Kobe, and all them could beat one-on-one? Like LeBron was drafted in 2003. 2003 was the defensive peak in NBA history. Like, and he averaged 20 points a game as an 18-year-old out of high school, and then 30 points 2 years later. It's like, bro, like, come on. It is an apples to oranges debate. One actually played in the defensive height of NBA basketball. The other one didn't. It's right. The competition is just so much better.
Mike, I think you got trounced in this debate, bro. I'm not going to lie.
I probably did,
You need to bring it a little harder next time, dude.
I mean, look, honestly, I'm a Knicks fan, and we all know the greatest player of all time is Anthony Mason. So forget everybody.
How would you feel? So,
it's Amari Stoudemire. Shut your mouth.
Let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
So, Mike, LeBron's a free agent. How would you feel if he came and played for the Knicks?
So I would say I don't think they would need him, although I know that sounds stupid, but I think only because it would be a bit of a distraction. But yeah, if he came to the Knicks, it would be a bonus, of course. It's just this Knicks team right now is so organically gelled, just the way they were built together. Right. You throw LeBron in there, obviously it's an upgrade, but it would be LeBron at the end of his career. It's LeBron at the end of his career. I would just hate for the distraction aspect of it to mess up the chemistry. That's the only thing I wouldn't want, But
I'm with you. I want to also
these guys are pros, so we'll see.
Piggybacking on Mike's point, because I agree with Mike. I forgot who it was on the fans. Somebody on the radio was saying this, and they go, you know what? I wouldn't want LeBron here because let's say the Knicks actually do manage to break through next year. They manage to avoid injuries. They get to the finals or whatever they do because they're in a position where they absolutely could with their draft position and all that, or capital rather. Yeah. But if you have LeBron on the team, everyone's going to say, oh, you just kind of brought him in as a ringer and it's his championship and it was because of him. Whereas that's kind of BS because this team was actually built pretty good. This is the most fun I think a lot of Knicks fans have had watching them in probably decades. Is this last year specifically? So, Mike, you're right. It would be a distraction and it would cheapen it.
That's like bagging Halle Berry after a divorce. Nigga, who cares? It's Halle fucking Berry.
That's right.
Like, who
Yeah,
gives
who's gonna
a shit?
complain?
That's like your boy. Oh, you don't get it because you only got it because she's depressed. Who cares? She's rebounding after a bad relationship. Who cares?
That's a good point, actually, because Halle Berry would. There's a whole list of celebrity women who.
I'll take her on the Knicks. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll take her. Well, it's funny. I was thinking about this. I was talking about this with some more coworkers of the day about how whenever they say oh, I think it's so weird when some guy gets kind of famous and then he tries to go out with a woman who's way older than him, and I'm like, no, dude. I'm like, Nick Cannon went out with Mariah Carey, A-Rod went out with Madonna, Ashton Kutcher went out with Demi Moore, all because for the same reason, which is because they grew up cranking one out to her, and then when they grew up, they're like, holy shit, I can actually do this now.
And she's right there.
She's
right there.
Yeah, all heroic, by the way. Every one of those guys. Sincerely, I mean that. Anyway, so you have some LeBron fights you want to get us into, right, Mike?
I do. So I grabbed a couple here because these weren't really big. We like big knock 'em out brawls, but I thought
they were brouhahas.
To an extent, yeah, but these are interesting. They're worth looking at. So
we do them all. We did a butt grab on the show one time. We do all levels, okay?
Oh, the soccer ones? Yeah.
That's still one of my favorite ones.
So this one we're going to bring up here. This is LeBron and the Lakers against the Pistons. This is fairly recent. Let's take a look at this.
Isaiah.
Here. Yeah, so we got some fouls.
I always like the newer ones because it's in higher def. Because some of those 80s, 90s ones, you really got to, slow it down and
get yourself a Toyota Camry.
Okay.
Oh.
So there's a little, LeBron's like, whoa, wait a minute here. I don't want any trouble. And now it's into it's a lot of yelling and a lot of fighting.
A lot of pushing, okay.
And if you look, not LeBron, I forget who the other guy was. His face is scratched. Like LeBron's hand must have whacked him in the mouth.
It was his elbow. I think, hit him in
his elbow.
Yeah.
This was not last year, 2 seasons ago.
I know those guys wearing masks still. This is very funny. You got a whole court of guys with no mask, and then be security or trainers, whoever that is, with the masks.
They have the
masks. Pretty funny.
And the refs. I mean, he is upset. He's almost crying. That's how upset he is.
After this brawl, make sure you get yourself a 2-for-1 deal at Little Caesars Pizza.
But look, my thing is, fam.
Yeah.
He hit you with an elbow, and your face looked like you were in a 12-round fight. Now you want to fight him? Are you out of your fucking mind? Look at your face. They probably wasn't stopping him. They were stopping him from being killed. Because
here we go. Just rolling across the court here. Yeah, this is.
I've seen people get hit. I've seen people get hit with elbows before, and their face never looks like that immediately.
Right. he got clobbered.
He looks like he got hit in the face by GGG or Klitschko or somebody. That was just an elbow. If you rewind it and see how fast it happens, you can tell it wasn't on purpose. It was an inadvertent elbow.
Let's see if we can find it.
It's back when they're at the foul line.
Yeah, I'll go back here.
When they went, look. This is how you know this guy don't know his own strength. He went right over to go check on him. Look. There's the elbow right there.
Yeah.
It happened that fast.
You could see the elbow go across, but he was vying for position. It wasn't fuck
dude,
you. Yeah.
He did that, he did that by accident. Could you imagine what he'll do to your face on purpose?
Yeah, no, he definitely looks like his face. He looks like his woman got home early and caught him cheating, like the after picture of that. That's what that looks like.
On some Al Green shit, You ever seen that? She beat the shit out of. No, who was that? Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie got beat up by his ex-wife. Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. It wasn't on the ceiling for that one.
I just learned yesterday that Lionel Richie had the #1 song or #2 song of the year I was born, 1986.
Lionel
Richie was on fire.
Was it Dancing on the Ceiling?
No.
Was it Hello?
I have no idea.
All Night Long?
Oh, no. It was called something for you. Get what you. No, hold on. Let me fucking look it up. It was on something.
Google it.
I'm gonna Google it right now while you guys keep commentating on this fight.
Yo, why didn't you look up Michael Jordan fights too? You could have pulled up the one that
you know what it is? There aren't many.
There aren't many.
Buried two-piece in them.
Really?
You never saw that one?
We did one with him and Reggie Miller, and then Let's see. While we're here,
Danny Ferry.
I'm look this up.
Well, let's wrap this one up first, and then if we want to try to do extracurriculars, we totally can.
We can edit. Wait, Danny Ferry punches Michael Jordan. Did we ever do this one?
I don't believe we did. I've never even heard about it. But then again, we've done like hundreds of fights on the show, so I have no idea.
Okay, here I found. This is
Say You, Say Me is the name of the song.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That's a good song.
That's a good one.
It's I guess it was like part of some movie promo or something. I don't know.
That would be funny as hell to play in the middle of this fight, right? This skirmish right here.
So we're gonna.
Dude, that'd be a job I would want. Is the guy who controls the sound system at like an arena or a ball game? That'd be very funny.
We're
can
first
just tell people all day.
This is the first. We're gonna we got a request fight. A request fight.
Mike, in DMing our guest, you could have asked him if he had any favorite brawls to do.
That's
done this before the show, but hey, no, that's just more editing you have to do. I don't care. All right, start it over. We're going to present this like an actual fight.
All right, so here it is. Danny Ferry.
Right here.
Okay, so he hit him with the arm. You see that, and Jordan was like, "What are you doing?"
He threw them bows like Ludacris. You saw that?
It totally went like right across.
I already know this fight's going to be good because you've got a bunch of guys with those early 90s flat tops going on, and that's how you know people are ready to throw down.
Yeah, look. Here we go, right here. All right.
Wow.
Oh!
And Michael, and look who's stopping him, Craig Elo.
Yeah. Another Nosebleeders legend. Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Ferry.
We've got a bunch on this channel.
Danny Ferry before the bald spot.
That is true. It's true. We had the Danny Ferry.
Looking like a divorced dad.
Is it just because his name is Ferry, and so he gets made fun of a lot, so he feels like he's got something to prove? He wants to.
Yeah.
You can imagine.
I can.
This is during Pride Month, so it's fitting that we have Danny Ferry laying hands on Michael Jordan.
What did he end up being?
Oh, of course he's ejected.
No. I mean, you said it was Pride Month. Did Danny Ferry end up being gay?
No.
Okay.
His last name Ferry. I was just
Ferry.
Have we? Oh, that swing is hilarious. It just goes right over his.
Let's see that again. Wait, look at one. Two, and Michael, he got a little clip, but he was dodging it.
Michael wanted to swing, but then he didn't. He thought better of it rather than swinging at the back of the guy's head. That wouldn't have looked good.
Look at the woman in the lower.
Look, she is shocked. She's like, "You hit Michael?
What? Oh my goodness! You're supposed to be a role model for my children and sell them shoes."
I'm still trying to figure out why Michael Jordan grew a Hitler mustache for that Hanes commercial. That's something.
I was just thinking about that.
It looked like he had one there.
I think that was one of the reasons why he stopped fucking with Charles Barkley. I think Charles Barkley said something about that mustache.
Oh, and that's why.
I like this guy. This guy was named Armstrong, number 10. He's literally standing like a statue, like not even getting involved. Yeah. He's just like, no, you guys handle this. I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna stand right here.
Hey, his teammates hated him quietly, so
yeah,
they were just like, man, I wish I could have did that.
Spotty to Michael. Yeah.
You see, Luke Longley and Horace Grant are going on.
Shout out to whatever channel this is.
Whatever channel
all his life. Yeah, we credit whatever. Okay. We credit whoever took the time to find their old VHS tapes to rip these, because you know the league doesn't like these floating around the internet. I mean, it's all the footage you find of these old NBA fights are all that just some guy happened to have and put on YouTube himself. The MLB will put up the brawls. The NBA kind of likes to keep them on the DL.
They used to highlight until the Malice in the Palace. They used to highlight the fights. They used to highlight the fights as well. That was all part of the media package with the NBA. Didn't the Malice in the Palace happen?
Have we done Malice in the Palace yet? We haven't, have we?
No, because it's such a big deal. We wanted to find the obscure fights.
we're gonna make like a special out of that when we get 1,000 subs or something, or like
find
a certain
studio.
Number. That one I want to get. We'll get like special guests. We'll bring on Ibrahim and a bunch of people.
We'll see if we get guests.
Yeah. We'll call the Pistons.
So we got. Let's see. I'll throw up this last one. It's more Chris Paul, but LeBron is involved in just I don't know. I was just trying to pull some interesting stuff. So there was. All right.
Is this a Rondo one?
Oh yeah, Chris Paul.
Yeah, I think so.
This is classic.
Melo post Knicks. So they're trying to break this up. LeBron's in there all right, we're not fighting.
Is this fairly recently? This one's the last couple of years or so?
Like 3 or 4 years ago. Actually 5 years ago.
It's got to be Melo's last year.
2019 before the world ended.
Yeah, it's got to be. Oh, now it's on. Now the fight is on. Rondo,
Rondo,
Chris Paul going at it. Once the guys with the suits come on the court, then it becomes serious.
I was gonna say that. You know it's real.
The MIBs.
Look, here you go.
Oh,
was he trying to poke him in the eye?
Yeah, he
put
put
like
his finger.
Three Stooges move on him.
Yo. Rondo don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around. He a hard little knot, bro. Like he don't fuck around. He had to play with Kevin Garnett and those guys. He, and he earned their respect. So he's not a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait. They're gonna go. There's Harden before the wait.
So here you go.
Oh, he poked him.
Fucking trying to get the
little Three Stooges action there. That would set me off. If you touch my head like that, that would set me off too.
He should have did this. He should have did the
he should did
the block.
The block.
You know what that reminds this kind of his form and how he hit Chris Paul reminded me of Chris Childs. Hooking off on Kobe.
We did that. I think we covered
that one. Yeah, we did that one.
Yo,
unbelievable. Let's watch it once.
Like everyone's walking him back. This, at least with the NBA, when there's going to be a fight, they actually fight now. Whereas the MLB now, I hate when they go, the benches have cleared at, because I get the notifications on my MLB app. The benches have cleared at such a, and then you go look, and that's all they did. All they did was leave the benches. There's no fighting. There's no anything. Until recently, it was the Brewers. They had a fight recently.
Right.
And that shit was epic.
So we haven't been able to do a lot of modern baseball fights because of that.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. We did this one. I forgot. I think it was the Mariners against the Orioles or some random fight I didn't even know existed until I was researching for the show.
Right.
That's one of the best fights I ever saw. We gotta.
Oh, Mussina and Norm Charlton.
It was like Mike. Yeah, that one was insane. And definitely they threw down in the 80s, 90s MLB. I don't know when they wussified the league so much.
Eric
Davis I use that term loosely because every guy in every team is about 8 inches taller than me. But
So we're gonna wrap up the OJ commercials. You want to show us
you want to do some OJ with us?
Yeah, we got a few minutes. Yeah, all right.
All right, we're gonna do some OJ ads. I have no idea what order you're doing these in, so let's see what we got here, Mike.
Let's see what we got.
Yep. The 1970 Chevrolet Nova is extremely comfortable and has over 2,917 cubic inches of padding. O.J. Simpson is not extremely comfortable and has only 27 cubic inches of padding. Nova has 307 cubic inches of standard V8 engine. O.J. Simpson does not have 307 cubic inches of standard V8 engine. Nova, though small and maneuverable, holds 5 fully grown adults at the same time. O.J. does not hold 5 fully grown adults at the same time. Nova is available in a coupe, a sedan, and an SS version. O.J. Simpson is not available in a coupe, sedan, and an SS version. Okay. In conclusion, we think it's fair to say that the 1970 Chevrolet Nova is a lot better automobile than O.J. Simpson. Besides, the Nova costs a lot less to run.
Whoa!
God damn.
That's
okay.
It's the fate of the killer.
Yeah.
Phil, this was intense.
That was a lot. The one thing I gotta say that and forgive me, Ibrahim, for even my brain going there, but didn't this almost come off like a slave auction a little bit to you?
Yes, that's exactly where my mind was at.
Okay, all right, good.
Thanks for meeting me there.
Take that then.
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind was at.
I was like, wait, it's like they have him up on the block just standing there, and they're like, oh, look how much. Like, I felt like the next thing they're going to say is like, he's got strong biceps and can push a wheelbarrow. And I'm sitting there like, oh no, where's this commercial going? Like, oh,
but it just shows you too how far commercials have come.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few. Yeah,
this commercials outside of the Super Bowl used to be garbage.
Yeah, based on what you were like, somebody was saying how much the NFL draft is looking like a slave auction. Like they were comparing
the combine.
The combine, yeah. I was like, holy shit, that's scary. So
yeah, I mean,
this was a dark commercial.
Yeah, it was
for a lot of reasons.
Okay.
I don't know. Commercials have gotten so much better. That's all I gotta say from watching it. This is the best thing they can come up with on Madison Avenue, and they're fucking and their fucking dinners and
Yeah,
whiskey
you're
parties.
right. You make good points. All this was one studio, like warehouse rented out for an afternoon. You had him pose. They had one like dolly cam go around 2-3 times, and then just they hired like the movie trailer guy to do a voiceover.
Right.
Like, you could have done this commercial in a weekend easily.
And whoever wrote this is not a fan of OJ.
No.
Like this entire ad campaign is not flattering to OJ Simpson whatsoever.
Oh my god.
It's like and the Nova doesn't cost as much to run. It's like, what the fuck?
That
like,
look right there. My god.
Okay.
All right, so the Chevy Nova commercial that was interesting. Oh, we got two more.
Let's get two more. Here we go.
What do we got?
Watch O.J. Simpson, number 1 halfback, demonstrate a really close shave.
I'll shave one side with the leading double-edged blade. The other side with the Schick Flexomatic. Now let's see if my wife Marguerite could feel any difference.
I can't tell. Both sides feel the same.
That's why I switched to the Schick Flexomatic some time ago. The shave feels blade close because the head is thin, and it's comfortable because it flexes. You ought to switch to the Schick Flexomatic, the electric that feels blade close.
Oh my god. We did this one with Brian, but I'm glad you put it.
All right. I was not aware of this particular ex-wife. This is before my time, but I do just think it's hilarious how poorly this aged. The fact that you had him doing a commercial holding the lady and oh man.
Close shave. She doesn't know how close. So who gave this man a razor blade? He's holding a woman. It did not age well. That's a nice shirt though he's wearing, but bad.
He kind of looks like Cam Newton here too. Like to be Cam.
He just needs the Joker hat, and then
for real, he's wearing the shirt.
He's got the shirt, right? Cam
got
Newton,
the outfit.
Hell of a
and he's
dresser.
got the I don't know what the name of that hairstyle is. It's like not like an afro, but it's like puffy.
A little shorter, early 80s.
You don't see a lot of black dudes rocking that anymore. Is there a word for that I'm not aware of? Does anybody know what that's called?
I mean, that's an afro to me. I don't know what else could it be called. That's an afro.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just not as blown out as others.
Oscar Gamble from the Yankees.
Guys still rocking afro. Motherfuckers still rocking afro. They just it's like Brooklyn's. We call them Brooklyn's. We got the taper fade on the side.
Okay.
And, you wear at the top. It's the same shit. It's just faded on the side.
I need to go to a barber shop and get educated. Yeah. That's what I need to do. I need to
go to a Dominican.
Blade close.
Hey, go to any Dominican barbershop. You'll be all right.
I do. I get the skin fade, baby.
You got it. You go to Dominicans?
Dude, you have to. If you live in New York City and your barber is not a Dominican, you're fucking up just in life.
Yeah. I'm support black business all day long, but I will go to a Dominican barber. And I go to a Dominican barber. I
absolutely.
The service is just mwah. They treat you like a king. You feel like a king in a Dominican barbershop.
Isn't that where you told Brian to go to shave his head?
I'm going to do it soon.
No,
it's going to happen.
Didn't you tell him to go to your barber for that?
I tried to make a day of it and have because he used to live near me. I tried to get him to come to my neighborhood and I'll get my hair cut in a day when we can go together so you're not scared and shit. I love the Dominican barbers.
Just shave it down.
That was a little side. Okay, last one up here. Oh man, they don't see. I'm white. They don't trust me that much. So
I think you're an art or something.
INS.
I think it's time for a Tree Sweet break. Me too. Okay, boss. This is Betrayal Hill where I grew up, and this is Tree Sweet, the orange juice I grew up on. It's rich in natural energy, and the kids, they like to taste the Tree Sweet because it's always naturally sweet. As sweet as an orange right from the tree, right?
Yes, sir.
You ready for another lesson, boss?
All right.
Not one juice reference? Not one reference to his nickname? Who's writing these commercials?
Don't call him the juice.
Play it again.
I was expecting juice or
play
something.
it again. Play it again.
Ready, OJ?
Ready.
Okay, OJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's time for a Tree Sweet break.
Me too.
Okay, boss. This is Betrayal Hill where I grew up, and this is Tree Sweet, the orange juice I grew up on. It's rich in natural energy, and the kids, they like to taste the Tree Sweet because it's always naturally.
Funny part is that's probably actually
right
real
tree,
orange juice
right?
back
Yes,
then.
sir.
I don't know what you got.
Wait, did he call him juice? Did he call him juice here?
Wait. Right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. He said. I thought he said yes, juice.
All right.
All right.
The basketball looks like an orange.
I
I don't know. Yeah. What do you got, Phil?
Okay, first of all, I just got to say, when's the last time you were at like a youth basketball game and they had a full-on pitcher with like glasses just on the sidelines?
Never.
I mean, so that's some weird filming techniques and product placement or whatever you call that.
Yeah. Everybody
usually
have their Gatorade bottles.
I mean, but
exactly.
I mean, but this is the 70s though, so
True.
I mean,
True.
It's a different world before the 90s and Gatorade. Like, I mean, Gatorade's been out since the 60s, but I mean,
Michael Jordan made it famous.
Yeah,
part of that whole campaign. I remember playing soccer as a kid. They would give us orange slices, but never full out orange juice.
The orange slices.
You get orange slices. Yeah.
Yep. And I remember when I played Pop Warner, Gatorade wasn't like readily available like it is now in stores. It wasn't that affordable. Like, it was like, what, you want Gatorade? Like, you fancy, if you had Gatorade, it wasn't like you really couldn't buy it in the store, and people weren't buying it like that.
Wasn't it just powder and you had to mix it with water? Were they doing it? No, or they had it in the glass.
They had it in the bottles too, but it wasn't sold everywhere like it is now.
Jeez.
I like that you remember the powder. Remember, because you had it was like, it looked like I don't even know, it was like big cylinder. And then you pour it into the big orange cooler at your soccer game, and you mix it up. Oh man, I remember that.
Have you ever looked into the history of Gatorade?
Wasn't it the Florida Gators? Wasn't it literally Gatorade?
Yeah. So it was developed. So what happened was the Florida Gators in the 1960s, I think, national championship or something like that. The players ran out of gas, I think, in the Orange Bowl. So some scientists that worked in the University of Florida came up with a concoction for electrolyte drink, and he gave it to them, and they end up winning the national championship, as the legend goes, whatever.
Okay.
So if you look at that and no other team had that. So if you look at it, it was like pretty much like a performance enhancer.
Sugar and salt.
Everyone else is drinking water, and now the Florida Gators have this unknown substance that they're chugging on the sidelines, and they never get tired. They never got
potassium. Yeah. Essentially salt and potassium.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's amazing. Well, it's funny enough. I'm drinking Gatorade now. Yesterday,
there we go.
I had the worst migraine yesterday. At the end of the night, I had like groceries delivered. I'm like, get me Gatorade, and I pounded one, and I took Excedrin or whatever, and it started going away. So, Gatorade, the miracle product.
That's true.
This
episode not brought to you by Gatorade.
No, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, they're not paying us. Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
They can sponsor.
Oh, that'd be great if they did.
If
they took the time to sponsor, a bunch of dudes who sit on their asses and drink and make fun of old brawls and commercials, that would be the greatest sponsorship of all time in the history of sports.
We like to get on John Boy's radar. He can pay us. That would be.
Yeah, or he could pay us too. That'd be great.
Like you were telling us that one guy went to John Boy. I'm like, oh, we can do that.
This would be hey, this is a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have this guy on again. I had a lot of fun talking to old school basketball, and
this was great. Hopefully Brian can join us.
Next time we'll do some LeBron ads or some Jordan ads or something. It'll be a lot of fun. This will be good.
Yeah.
Man, this is good.
Where can people follow you? What are you promoting? What do you got coming up?
All 6 people follow him.
Yeah,
Brian's mom.
I'm actually gonna be at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, PA, this coming Friday.
Cool.
Headlining a show, and then I have Emmaus Theater on the 28th. So I'm gonna be there on the 28th of July. Excuse me. So nice. And they can follow me at Ibrahim Khalif on Instagram, the way they see it right there, and they can find me on Facebook as well. I got a comedy album called Placebo. It's on all streaming platforms, and nice. a podcast that I hardly record, but I mean it's pretty good, so they can check that out. So it's called the Ignorant Negus. Ignorant Negus podcast. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Phill, thanks.
This was fun, man. I said,
I hit the mute button on my mic. I'm sorry. I thought it came through. God damn it! Sorry.
Phil's in the dugout of a.
I swear to you, I hit the mute button and it was said mute on, so I did. I try to mute when I'm doing shit like that on here. Yeah.
It always comes through, and I have to edit it out. That's what.
My bad. You know what? It might be.
What? Go ahead, Phill.
No.
I was gonna say goodbye.
No. That was off air shit. Just end it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks.
See you guys later, please.
Bye.